Alright, time for another DraftPhysics.com, debate physics, debatephysics.com also. But the people just won't debate. And where you argue with something called evidence, experimental evidence. And so, yes, there's just none provided to defend the preposterous fable. And it's just so disappointing that you go over this and over this and over this, and the physicists always do the same bullshit. They talk around the subject and pretend they've answered anything or in any way address the fact that you have no experimental evidence, and that should be called bad science. When you don't have any experimental evidence, that's called bad science. It's great religion, but it's really bad science. Oy. Alright, so this I can science that. He can't science to save his life. He's not even close to knowing what science is supposed to be. It's a deliberate, willful investigation. It's detective work. Why is the question you want to answer? Why does it do what it's doing? How does it do what it's doing? How was it done? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to be answering. You're not supposed to be just babbling platitudes of, well, we think a Newton isn't, indivisible into a joule. You can't convert newtons into joules. Well, yeah, you can. It's perfectly legal, scientifically. Anyway. Upon request, I have watched only the 5 minutes so far. I will try to find time to watch the rest and review the description later, but I find my patience waning. Well, fine. I'm done. I had patience, but yes, you just keep talking around every fucking subject and keep saying, Newtons aren't joules, Newtons aren't joules. Doesn't matter. They don't have to be, because they can be converted into the same unit. They have a common denominator. I am allowed to do mathematics with things with a common denominator. Fucktard. Anyway, 251. You can't do both things. You can't use your momentum in the ballistic pendulum to make heat and then keep the momentum and make motion. You can't have your motion going two different ways. You can't have the motion going over here with a bunch of little tiny things moving and then claim I still have all my momentum. I didn't have to use any momentum to make all that stuff happen. I mean, it's ridiculous mush. It's free energy. If you have 1900 joules of heat and that had to be made with momentum, and you've got 2 joules of motion, then you've got 2000 more joules of energy than you started with. That's free momentum. Oh, fuck. Please look up elastic. This has nothing to do with elastic and inelastic. It has to do with where did the energy go. It's a quantity of motion. It's conserved, which means you have to find out where it went. You have to investigate. You roll a ball on a surface. Only ignorant people think, hey, the ball stopped. The energy was destroyed. No, smart people understand the energy in the ball, the linear motion, was converted into vibrations in the ground. And then those vibrations will dissipate into atmosphere. And then that atmosphere will dissipate it into space. Fucking tard. Shit. I mean, to have to explain this to a physicist, you're just like, what the fuck? They really do believe in free energy. Alright, the difference between energy and momentum should be demonstratable if it's real. Yeah, well, and you have nothing. Then cite it. I mean, it's just amazing. It should be demonstratable. Demonstrate it! For fuck's sake. Show me kinetic energy doing work. It can't move a spaceship. It can't be collected in a ballistic pendulum. It can't be used on a lever. It doesn't be conserved in pulleys. It doesn't work for a water hose. What experiment exactly does kinetic energy do work in? There isn't one. Simple answer. Because it's a fable. When I try to discuss it with you, You reply by calling my efforts all mush. And isn't this mush and gibberish? Is this an answer? The difference between energy and momentum should be demonstrable if it is real. That's your obligation. So show me. Amazing. And nothing on the subject. Yes, and you just did more of the same thing. All right. If you want to know how it works from a science classroom point of view, a classroom what? Who you fool with this shit? 6-year-olds? I'm always happy to help. I mean, it's just, I already pointed out you're an arrogant, patronizing motherfucker. Shove it up your ass, Mr. Rogers. Okay. If you would like me to consider an alternative point of view, I'm open to explore it. Go fuck yourself. How about that point of view? I mean, could you stick your head up your own ass any further? I'm not requesting that you try, but, maybe you could. If you want me to accept that you are correct, no, I want you to show me fucking reasons to believe your crap. How many fucking times do I have to say it? Show me a piece of fucking evidence, you fuck! God damn, it doesn't move a rocket. It doesn't move a ballistic pendulum. What the fuck does the kinetic energy move? Show me it moving something. Fuck! Okay. Without investigating it all. Okay, let's see. If you want me to accept that you are correct without investigating it all, so that's exactly not what I'm asking you to do, shithead. I'm asking you to explain to me why you believe it. Besides it written in a Bible, what reason do you have to believe the fable? I insist investigating a claim before I accept it. Well, you're a liar, because you clearly haven't investigated MV squared at all. Because if you do a little tiny bit of investigation, you'll see it was created by a religious crank and then defended with pseudoscience experiments. It's always been a shitty theory. Always. Leibniz was buried a nothing, okay? He lost all credibility in science. Nobody went to his funeral. No one would pay for it. Newton was buried as a fucking god. All right, if you dismiss everything I say as gibberish, it's not, show me the sentence where you actually made an argument explaining anything. So give me that sentence somewhere. So was there a sentence you uttered that is anything real? Besides tell me what the fuck happened. It's always hitting the wrong button somewhere. Just go back, Gary. It should be works. Back button should work. Please. We're all the way back at the beginning again. Alright, so it's this comment. Let's see. I insist on investigating a claim before I accept it. So where's the evidence of that? I'm asking you to show me your detective work. Give me the Columbo version of your investigation. Show me where you found some hair and fibers and a piece of bitten cheese and something else, and that's why you've drawn this silly conclusion. If you dismiss everything, so again, it's just I don't dismiss everything you say, but there's just nothing you've said that isn't gibberish. This entire comment was just gibberish. Where did you talk about the fact that the kinetic energy appears incapable of moving the pendulum? That is, it's incapable of being collected to do work. So your definition of kinetic energy is energy that does work. Well, it didn't do any fucking work. If anyone is curious about this material, standard physics teaches us that force, momentum, and energy are all different but related. So again, different but related is mushy talk. So you don't see how that's gibberish? They're different but they're related. They're samey but they're not samey. They're a little bit like each other but some kinds of not like each other. So, one of them has horns. And, one of them has a fluffy tail. The difference between them are measurable and testable. And so he keeps implying there's some evidence somewhere. They tested something, that they dropped 4 pounds 1 foot and 1 pound 4 feet. That they tested this somewhere. They crashed a car, they did something. Where did you do a goddamn fucking thing to test this? God, you're such a shit. I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, well, go fuck yourself. So that's his response to a ballistic pendulum. When you shoot a bullet into it, loses 99.94% of the kinetic energy is gone, missing. It's not in the pendulum. And every single time, with all of our high tech, with all of our fancy physics, we will never push a ballistic pendulum and collect anything more than the momentum. Never do you collect any kinetic energy over the momentum. Not even one little joule. Ever. And he thinks that's not an indication that maybe kinetic energy is just fucking made up. Oh, fuck. So some asshole chimes in. I heard that if a 30-06 bullet hits someone in the neck, then the neck? What a weird place. So you heard they had a neck analysis. Then the power expended on head and neck. So you hit him in the head, your neck, but it's in the head that you have some sort of penetration. Okay, is about equivalent to what would be expected from a 12 MK3 hand grenades. I mean, it's just you're really this stupid? You think a little tiny bit of gunpowder creates the same amount of explosion as 100 or 1,000 times more. Oh, brother. Is the damage done to the person's head and neck more to do with the power transfer or overall energy transfer? It's so pathetic. Energy equals force times penetration distance. No, it doesn't. It's about velocity, frankly. Velocity is like pointing an arrow. Okay, having to absorb the same energy dissipated over a large surface makes the energy less effective at hurting you or breaking anything. So the smaller the surface area, the more damage you can do. And then the other thing you can do is put all the energy happening really quickly, or the energy happening slowly. So I could throw 3 baseballs at you, right? And it's no big deal. But if I throw all 3 of them at once, it's a much bigger deal. Can you understand that? Because you can recover. You have time to recover. Atoms are the same way. Your electrons and protons are the same way. If you hit them with energy and they have time to balance and rebound and accept catching the egg, they have time to catch the egg and all that kind of crap, no problem. But if you throw it too fast, it just breaks the atom. Breaks it. That's all. You just broke it. But you're not going to move more mass in the end, so it's not more energy. More pins won't be moved. You're just going to break the first pin, and the pieces are going to knock down the other pins. But there's not more energy. Can you understand? A pointy arrow goes in deeper, and it doesn't mean the arrow had more energy. Well, the same thing's true for velocity. The higher the velocity, the less elasticity, the more it tests the elasticity of a surface. So it's like a piece of glass. You just ping it at a very high velocity and it shatters. You sit an elephant on it and it doesn't shatter. Fuckers. You're all so fucking dumb. I think that according to DES, force does the damage. Well, obviously, both things have force. The recoiling gun has force. It's 1,000 atoms moving 1 mile an hour. And then you have 1 atom moving 1,000 miles an hour. The point is those two things will move the same matter. But the fact is, the thing going 1,000 miles an hour is going to impose all the energy in a millisecond, where the recoiling gun is going to impose it over maybe a full second. There'll be 1,000,000 to 1 difference in the speed at which the atoms have to accept the energy. Atoms can't move instantaneous speed. They can't even move very high velocities without disrupting and falling apart. It's like these magnets. If I knock a magnet out really fast, it's really easy. It doesn't use any energy at all because it moves faster than the magnetic field. If I take a magnet and I have 2 other magnets on either side and I move it really quickly, I won't feel any magnetic force. But if I move slowly, then I'm going to feel a lot of force because I'm the surface has time to react. I give the surface time to, I give the forces time to act. I'm going to feel the force. I don't give them any time to act. I feel nothing. Something goes past the gravitational body really fast. It's barely even bent at all. No bending. It just zooms right past it because the gravity is irrelevant. Because it goes through the gravity so fast, the gravity never reacted. It never had time to push on it. Duh. God damn, these people are so dumb. All right, well, anyway, but the average speed here is constant for the distance. I don't know what you're talking about there. So the power here is essentially a measure of force. I don't know what you're talking about. Power and force, it's just ridiculous nonsense. Stick with force. Force is discrete stuff hitting something, you could argue, and then big stuff you call momentum. But momentum really is just force. Matter carries force. It's just a force carrier. The mechanical damage done, he's quoting himself, you need to consider, I think he's quoting himself, yeah, it's the same guy. The energy and power, but they answer different questions. Says you. Energy tells you how much damage can be done. Bullshit. It's just such nonsense. Power tells you how violently it's done. So it's just bullshit. No, it doesn't have anything to do with it. In many modern ballistics contexts, the high power, the resulting temporary cavitation, is considered the more significant wounding factor for immediate incapacitation. Encapsulation. Something like that. That's what deep seek AI. Oh, you give me AI answers. Oh, fuck you. The point is where does the gun demonstrate Newton's third law? 2,000 joules come out of one end. The gun leaves with 2. Explain what happened to Newton's laws. Oh, God, these people are just so insufferable. Alright, so this was an unsuspected surprise, so I'm glad to have it. I haven't read it yet, but we know it's going to be crap, but I just thought, hey. So he answered my 5-year-old questions that are in the description, right? So they're not perfectly worded, but yes, they're good enough questions. Alright, if I'm in space and I throw a 2-liter Coke bottle away at 1 mile an hour, and so this is the same as the bullet and the gun recoil. So in one case, I'm going to let the gun recoil fly out of the ship. In the other case, I'm going to let the bullet fly out of the ship. The bullet has 2,000 joules leaving the ship. The gun recoil has 2. Alright. Do I receive the same thrust if I shoot a dime away from me at 1,000 miles an hour? If so, isn't this proof against kinetic energy formula? So obviously, I had to generate 2,000 joules of energy to move the bullet. And the question is, how can I only have 2 joules of recoil? How's that possible? So it doesn't obey Newton's third law, and it clearly can't be used. It can't do any work. So the energy can't possibly be, you can't possibly have the definition of kinetic energy as energy that does work when I didn't have to do work to do it. That is, if I shot two guns away from each other, right, had the same explosive, and I put 2 guns inside each other's barrel, I'm still only going to have 2 joules and 2 joules. I'm just going to have 4. But then if I make a zip gun and I put 2 bullets in, I'll have 2,000 going that way and 2,000 going that way. I'll have 4,000 joules. Same explosive. So if I measure the power of the explosive, one experiment tells me it's 4,000 joules of energy. The other experiment tells me it's 4. Now, can you understand that they really need to explain that? Because that doesn't make any sense at all. And the simple truth is the bullet never had 2,000 joules of anything. It's got 2 joules of momentum. But what it does have is a very high velocity that can break things. Like a pointy arrow, it can sneak through matter more efficiently. Oh, shit, these people are stupid. All right, so his answer is the kinetic energy formula. No, it's okay. If so, isn't this proof against the kinetic energy formula? Okay, that's the, I should put a space there. No, it's not proof against KE. So again, I'm arguing, of course it is, because you'll have no explanation for how it's possible that I did 2,000 joules of energy, and yet I only got 2 joules of motion in my spaceship. And in the recoiling gun case, I did 2 joules of energy, and I got 2 joules of energy in my spaceship. You can't explain that contradiction. Okay, no, that's not proof against KE. In the absence of a net force, it is a net force. It is an explosion, for fuck's sake. Momentum must be conserved. I mean, this is just baby talk. Obviously, it's not conserved, so there's no point in you saying it. The bullet has 2,000 joules. Where did I conserve anything called momentum? All right, your example is a good one that shows that. Oh, fuck you. What your example, so you see, he's just talking around it. What your example shows is that throwing a 2-gram object at 1,000 miles an hour takes more energy. Right, exactly. Where did the energy come from? Where did it come from? I did 2,000 joules of work and to produce the bullet, and I only got 2 joules of rebound. So how is that obeying Newton's third law? Explain it to me. Please. Throwing the 2-kilogram object at 1 mile per hour despite it being the same amount of momentum. So, yeah, that's no point. Momentum is not energy. Again, you keep saying it, but prove it. Prove it doesn't move things to make things and give things force. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. It doesn't perfectly fit the definition of energy. Energy is motion. Momentum is motion. I mean, amazing bullshit. Energy comes in units of, he's doing it again. It doesn't matter if it comes in Newton meters, because I can convert that into joules. So fuck you again. Momentum comes in units of NS. It doesn't mean anything. Since meters are not, oh, fuck you. It's just, you know. So no answer. Is there any physical evidence defending the kinetic energy theorem? The theory says an 8-pound bowling ball will produce twice as much energy as a 16-pound bowling ball thrown with the same effort. No pro bowler can make the lighter ball work. Why? Okay, and he says, answering just the first part. Well, fuck you. Yes, of course. We do this in physics classrooms. No, you don't. There are lab experiments we do as students to verify this. So he just keeps saying it. No, there isn't. You're a pathetic liar. Okay. I invite you to try one. I invite you to label one of them. Show me one of them. Link me to one of them. You lying sack of shit. I suggest one to you earlier. Where? Where did you do that, liar? I can offer you several more. See, there's nothing here. He's implying that there's some video he offered. Where? Where is it? You didn't offer a video showing me kinetic energy doing any work. You pathetic liar. You didn't show me a 1 mass going 2V doing more work than a 2 mass going 1V. Show me that. I pointed out how regenerative braking... Oh, fuck you. Regenerative braking has nothing to do with this subject. Oh, he's such a weaselly cunt. Alright, why did it do this? Alright. My bad, I hit the button. Oh, it's just so bad. Alright, as I pointed out how regenerative braking works in EV. I mean, this is just baby talk. Yeah, you're reversing the function of the generator. How does this have anything to do with the subject of an 8-pound bowling ball and a 16-pound bowling ball? How are you on the subject somewhere? I can document to you a 16-pound ball going 8 miles an hour and a 8-pound ball going 16 miles an hour, and I can document that they'll knock down the same amount of pins. They'll give them net. When they're all done, when all their energy is exhausted, they will have the same amount of mass moving. The pins will be the same amount of mass moving. I described how car acceleration is power limited. Oh, I mean, fuck. I just can't believe how dishonest this weasel is. He doesn't think this is a gobbledygook bullshit answer. fuck. If I shoot two objects with inverse velocity to mass ratios, so this is the 5 mile an hour vehicle turned into a 10 mile an hour with the extra weight, and you lose half the velocity. Into gravity, your formula says one object will have twice as much energy as the other at liftoff. If I let the objects fall on an identical spring, they will be recorded to impose the same pressure, the same joules of energy. How do you reconcile the fact with your theory, or do you dispute the fact? So he says, let's say 10 kilograms at 5 meters per second, so 50 kilograms of momentum. That's 125 of energy. So he's just doing the calculation. We already decided that there's this the objects have the same momentum. We don't need your calculation. We already know it's the same momentum, and one of them has twice as much kinetic energy. Why are you doing this bullshit? Those will not compress the spring by the same amount. Try it out. So again, no, you show me the counter experiment. You show me. You try something out, you fuck. You've had 350 years of preaching your religion. You think you'd have a single shred of fucking evidence? God, what a pile of crap. Springs store energy, not momentum. Where did you prove that? Show me that experiment. That experiment must be somewhere. Show me. This is an excellent example. What example? Do the experiment and show us. No, you do it and show us. You fuck. God, I can't stand these assholes. You're the physics. Physics has all the money, all the equipment, all the labs, all the everything, and you've done nothing with it. You blow up watermelons. You don't do any fucking science, you weasel. God damn it. Or simply watch someone else do the show me. Link me to your evidence, fucker. How many fucking times do I have to say that? Link me to your evidence, motherfucker. God damn it. What the hell was just on this screen? Yeah, I don't know what that was. Weird. Somebody's hacking my tablet. All right. Do you think a 5-ton, 10-mile-an-hour train can do twice the work as a 10-ton train going 5 miles an hour? So simple enough. They have the same momentum. One of them has twice as much kinetic energy. Let's see what his answer is. So he says yes. They won't show it. I plow them into a ballistic pendulum, they'll do the same thing. All I get is the momentum. I plow the 5 mass going 10 into the ballistic pendulum. I throw the 10 mass going 5 into the ballistic pendulum. The ballistic pendulum does exactly the fucking same thing. Show me your counter evidence. You know, he's such a fucking piece of shit. Work is defined to be energy with units of Nm. Nm. Momentum has units of Ns. Ns. Those are not the same. Yeah, so again, he keeps playing a game with the units. Everybody knows you can convert Fahrenheit into Celsius, and you can convert both into Kelvin. No, it's not an issue. You lying sack of shit. All right. It's literally just the definition of the words here. I'm unclear why you would want to argue about it, because it's two different kinetic energies and they'll do exactly the same fucking work, and that's the whole point, jackass. You're saying they'll do different amounts of work. Well, why don't you show me the experiment where they do different? We all know they won't do any different to the ballistic pendulum, because we know the ballistic pendulum is just going to collect the fucking momentum, and that's all it's going to see. So you show me the fucking experiment where the kinetic energy reveals itself. Oh, God, this is so dishonest. Do you think you can create heat or deformation and transfer 100% of your momentum to another object? So this is just the simple consequence of the previous question. If you think there's heat and deformation when I combine two masses and make a bigger mass, then how did I keep all my momentum? I can't make heat for free. I have to use momentum to make heat. All right. So he'll again, he's just going to evade the subject. Perfect transfer of anything is extremely, we're not talking about perfect, we're talking about 150% or 200% or 400%. We're talking about having momentum go over here, and we know the momentum can just be considered heat. You have heat over here, and then you have heat over here. And it's twice as much heat that you started with. You started with a certain amount of motion. You now have twice as much motion, mass moving. You can't do that. You can't make free momentum. Oh, fuck. He's just such a... I would never ask for 100% out of any physical experiment. Well, guess what? Some of them do have 100%. Some of them are just that good. To see examples where kinetic energy is transferred almost entirely to another object. Okay, great. Thank you. I suggest steel pucks. They're the same fucking mass! Oh, God. If you don't change the mass, it means you don't change the velocity, so you can pretend then. It's okay to pretend. You started with v squared and you end with v squared. Because you're not going to change the fucking velocities proportional to the mass. So you can't change the mv any. So it doesn't matter. We're talking about experiments. I've made it explicit so many times. I mean, fuck you. This is just such bullshit. Do it with different massed pucks and then tell me you conserve the kinetic energy. Because that's essentially the ballistic pendulum, asshole, and you know it. If I have a half mass puck and a full mass puck and I smash the half mass puck into the full mass puck, I'm just doing a ballistic pendulum experiment. Whether it's elastic or inelastic won't matter, because I won't conserve the kinetic energy. Alright. So let's see. I suggest steel pucks on an air table. Certain steel alloys have high coefficient of restitution. Yeah, glass works too, jackass. But anyway, okay, so what does that have to do with anything, you fuck? Oh, we all don't know. I could use a silicate. It might cost $50, but you could use, some kind of silicon-based. You need a material with CR as close to 1 as possible. Yeah, Newton talked about this. And he found glass better than steel, but, steel back in Newton's day wasn't all that. Glass and ice are more readily available, but tend to break if you're not careful. So again, this is just baby talk. This is just talking around. This subject isn't about what materials you use, you jackass. You could just put springs on the fucking puck. Oh, you're such a fuck. For an example where the kinetic energy is transferred almost entirely as heat, maybe shoot something into water. Well, there you go. Maybe physics should have done that experiment, huh? Maybe in all 350 years they should have done that experiment, right? Joule invented the Joule tank. Show me where there's a modern scientist still using it. Why aren't they using the Joule tank? Why aren't they doing exactly that? I mean, Joule was a fucktard. I mean, the only way he was using his Joule tank was dropping shit on a string. That's not a great idea. Okay, that's not. You people think that it doesn't matter how slow something falls in gravity. Well, it actually does matter. Oh, you're all so dumb. Anyway. For example, where the kinetic energy is transferred only the time, maybe shoot something into water. As water absorbs motion, measure the rise in temp. I can't believe this bullshit. Again, he's telling me that I need to do the experiments. They don't have to. He doesn't have to prove his religion. I have to prove mine. It's just a gross double standard. All right, the ballistic pendulum you mentioned is a fantastic example of yes. So he's going to try to argue that it's a fantastic example of what? The complete failure of kinetic energy to do anything called work. Oh, he's such a lying sack of shit. You'll need to measure some temperatures. Well, that's your job, right? They've done hundreds of videos on YouTube. Not one of them stuck a thermometer in the fucking pendulum. Not one. All right. To assess how much heat is absorbed. Right. Yeah. So why didn't Professor Lewin use a thermometer? All right. And watch out for the heat being dissipated while you're trying to measure. Maybe insulate it first to help. Yeah. Fuck you. There's absolutely no evidence that the pendulum even gets warm to the touch. So, fuck you. Overall, I see you asking lots of questions here, but it doesn't really seem you've tried very hard to find answers. It's not my job to prove your theory. It's your job to prove it. I'm asking you to show me some fucking evidence, and you can't manage. Some real evidence. Not little denting clay with round objects. Not gimmicks. Overall, I see a question. I have some answers for you right here. Yeah, fuck you. Not even close to an answer. I will now sit back and wait to see how you react to those answers. They're not answers. You didn't say a motherfucking thing about any of the subjects. You didn't explain how you can knock more pins down with the same momentum. I have 2 bowling balls. One of them has twice the momentum. Twice the energy. But they have exactly the same momentum. I went through the whole calculation. I mean, when they hit the pins, they lose the proportional amount of momentum. So if the pin leaves with 4 units of momentum, the ball lost 4 units of momentum. So there's no way to make it any different. There has to be the same amount of pins moving using both balls. It doesn't make any difference. And that's why bowlers don't use 8-pound bowling balls. It's because it's not twice the energy. It's the same fucking momentum. All answers easily and readily given without insults. You didn't say anything, jackass. What response will I get? You'll get a fuck you, because it's not an answer to the question. It's just arrogant, obnoxious, pontificating, childish, patronizing crap. How many times did you write, it's a Newton, it's a Newton, it's a Newton? Does it matter? Does it matter? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Is it relevant? Is it relevant? Is it relevant? No. It's a quantity of energy, you fuck. Shit. It's just so bad. Oh. All right. Yeah, this asshole did the same thing. Considering what you said about driving a car in the beginning, it seems that you still don't understand what kinetic energy means. It's magical fun to rub on your hiney energy. The kinetic energy of a car does not tell you how much energy the car consumes at that speed. Well, it actually does. Maintaining a speed isn't any different than accelerating to a speed. News flash. Okay, because you're losing the energy to friction, you have to keep on putting more energy in. The air resistance and the friction keep absorbing it, and you have to keep putting it in. Asshole. It tells you how much energy was used to get to that speed. So again, it's just a lie that experiment in any way demonstrates anything. Okay, so go ahead. And I said right in my video, I said right here, I did state in another video, it doesn't matter which experiment you do. 0 to 50 will not consume 25 times the fuel than 0 to 10. And you're an idiot, of course. All right, so he says, it's no wonder everything you say sounds like gibberish to you. Everything they say, yes, of course. I mean, it's just, what's this horse shit? Again, this is theories existed for 350 years. Leibniz had no evidence. Deschardelet had a fake, flat earther experiment. And what else do they have? What's the other experiment? What experimental evidence proves the existence of kinetic energy? That's right, there isn't one. Fuck. I just hate this planet. Sucky, pukey humans. Yuck. They're all religious kooks.